Hello, skipper. Hello, navigator. Half a minute to go. Okay.
The man himself is here, Angel B. Jordan, filling in for Renee DeChurch. She's just downstairs, but she's feeling very sick right now. So I'm here, taking over, back with the other man himself.
Who's always here.
Yeah, except for when you went to a mountain to stop kids from being gay or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't want them to die. I didn't want to protect the kids, so I did a mountain thing. But I'm going again in a month. I'll be away for a month.
Yeah, we're gonna like pre-record some episodes?
We might do a couple episodes pre-record. Otherwise, you'd have to do like a thing with like, Renee Church if that works well for you guys.
Yeah, we'll pre-record it. We'll see how many we can pre-record. But for like the next couple of weeks of recording, we should just do like 2, and then just backlog them up.
Yeah, backlog them up, or maybe we can do one while I'm over there and here through Zencaster.
We can try. It worked one time and it did not work the other time, so we'll see how things go.
It didn't really
All right.
work.
Well, people don't want to hear how the sausage is made.
People love the inside bullshit of the sausage.
No, they just want to see the fully done sausage, which doesn't look that much better than how it's made. Sausages look ugly as fuck.
I never knew what was on top of it. I thought that there was like just edible plastic, but it is actually some kind of fat skin that it is.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
And you get like a sausage maker, and it just processes the meat, and it like
puts it in the.
Yeah, it like just spreads the fat out over it.
Yeah, it's like those balloon animal thing.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
it's made something like that.
Oh, there you go. Speaking of balloon animals, that's a good topic to open with.
Yeah, let's do it. Well, what's the balloon animal?
I was going to say a good friend of ours, not a good friend, just an associate, but Josh.
No, he's a good friend.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not yours, maybe.
I've had maybe like 5 conversations with him. But Josh Thompson, stage name Josh Jack.
Yeah.
He was in for what is, I think, one of the funniest stunts I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
It made me so jealous because
Yeah.
I heard about it like a couple of weeks ago before it hit the news. So I assume everyone who's listened to this has heard it, but what he did was he found out he was going to lose his job due to redundancy, FCB, which is literally across the road from here.
Yeah.
They had the Vodafone contract, but they lost it. They're an advertising agency, so because they lost like one of their biggest clients, some of the staff had to go. One of the staff on the chopping block was a relative newcomer, Josh.
Great comic. He's funny.
Yeah, I meant newcomer to their right.
Oh, to there.
He was like, like first in, first out.
Yeah.
So he was in sort of that situation. I think he'd only been there about 6 months.
Yeah.
So he sort of realized what was going to happen. He was going to be made redundant. So, HR, human resources, they call you and they say, bring in a support person.
Yeah.
Which is never a good sign. If you have to bring in a support person, it means, this is probably not going to end well for you.
They're not going to give you a promotion while telling you you need a support person.
No. So, and he brought in as a support person a clown.
Yeah, and he invested $200 to get the clown.
Yeah, he invested $200, which, as I guess we've discovered, was money very well spent. Considering it got him like international coverage. He was in The Guardian.
Yeah, and the Washington Post.
Yeah. The New Zealand Herald.
New Zealand Herald, that's okay. The thing is that I think I read in New Zealand Herald, I read that the clown was in there, but it was kind of acting out as well. It was like if the bad news, it will make a crying face, and if it was going fine, then it would smile a lot. So it's a great thing.
Yeah, just miming that.
This tops the domain buying stunt that was done by Tim Bat.
That was nothing compared to that. Yeah, Tim Bat, really up your fucking game. Like, look, you've been outshined by Josh Jack when it comes to practical jokes, and you've been outshined by me as guests on this podcast. You're really falling behind, mate. Stop focusing on your lovely wife and focus on doing bullshit comedy. Maybe then you'll be on our level.
No, he's great.
Yeah, no. Tim's really nice. Book me for your gig. So I heard, I don't think this was covered in the newsletter, but at one point he was doing like balloon animals, and the HR lady was like, because they were squeaking, and I was like, excuse me, can you stop doing that? Like, I can't hear myself talk.
Well, it's great. Do you think that it's going to help the comedy career, or it's just one of those stunts that goes and you get a bit of a shine on you and then it just goes away?
Well, it's a bit of a weird one. He said in an interview he did with The Project, he was like, I was going to use it as part of my act. Although, no, the news called it a comedy routine. Which they always call it routine.
They're from the 1930s.
Yeah, and then apparently it was leaked, but I mean, the way that it like got such good press and the fact that he's now at like a different ad agency that I used to be at, I suspect he might have done it himself. I don't know. I could just ask him.
Yeah. Well, we can invite him to the podcast.
Yeah, that's true. That'd be good. Better than me. Yeah, but like he was originally put as like an unnamed person, and he was like credited as like an unknown Kiwi.
Yeah.
Whereas he is a known Australian.
Yeah, he's a known Australian, and a lot of his act is about being Australian as well.
Yeah. So I don't. And a lot of the articles he wasn't named. Also, which is a slight problem for him. His name is Josh Thompson, which is already a New Zealand comedian.
He's a comedian, yeah.
So the stunt is credited to Josh Thompson, but his stage name is Josh Jag. So
Josh Jag, yeah.
I don't know. This feels like questions for him to ask. Answer. Sorry.
He needs to plan his career now out of this.
Yeah, he's getting like media asking him for comments. The clown has been getting interviews as well.
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I have a feeling that now it will start like a trend of people doing a lot of these kind of bullshit stunts.
Yeah.
But they will be not top. This was the original pioneering one. Well, I guess the Tim Bat one was the original pioneering one, which was great as well. I quite liked it, but it was more political. That's why I liked it.
Yeah, no one cares about politics.
I care about politics.
You shouldn't. They're boring. This is fun because it's at the expense of some HR lady, and everyone knows that HR ladies are the worst.
That's true. I mean, some of them are nice. Come on, you get a job. If you got a job in HR, what are you going to do? Are you going to take it?
Well, yeah, but jobs like that is basically just like you're not satisfied with your life, so you get like you just wring any little bit of satisfaction you can out of the suffering of others. Like I had a friend who works 50, 60-hour weeks.
Yeah.
And then which they're only paid for 40.
Yeah.
And then they got like their bonus.
Uh-huh.
And the bonus is like 50% based on company performance, 50% based on personal performance. And then, so they got like the full 50% from the company. The company did really well. And then for their performance, they got like 15% out of 100.
What?
Of the money, yeah. So, which basically means like they got rated like 1.5 stars out of 5.
What the fuck is that?
Yeah. And then they just messaged the HR person being like, excuse me, I do like 10 to 20 hours of overtime a week. And then the HR person was just like, oh, we look forward to your improved performance next year.
What the fuck?
It's just like that kind of passive-aggressive. Just treating someone like garbage for all the hard work they've done. Those are the kind of people in HR. Also, I am currently looking for a job in HR. If you would like me to treat you like garbage, I would happily acquiesce.
That's fucking insane. But it's I always think about having a job versus having no job and just following my dream and stuff. But then I think about the money and I was like, okay, I'll keep doing the job.
As someone who's doing the latter, trust me, go with the job. Yeah, it's not great. I fucking hate relying on just random like freelance work. I hate it so much. Yeah,
but you're following your dream. If your dream was...
I'm following my dream, being the least successful comedian in Auckland.
I can't disagree with that.
I know. No one can disagree.
I can't disagree with that.
Like, literally...
I won't lie to you.
Objectively, the biggest failure.
Yeah.
Which I kind of like. I'm very comfortable in failure.
You quite enjoy it. You revel in that shit.
Yeah.
If you were successful in getting all the respect, I think you will try your best to get out of that situation.
I enjoy it. Just every day, I'm like... I know exactly what I could post on Facebook that would make everyone really angry. Like, should I do it? And I did see
I wouldn't mention that tweet, but I did see a tweet and I was like, oh, that's...
From me?
From Jordan tweet.
What did I say?
It was related to the towers.
Oh, yeah. I thought that was funny.
That was hilarious, but
Yeah. Fucking the amount of people who are just like, oh man, you had a really funny tweet. I'm like, why didn't you like the tweet? And they're like, I can't be seen doing that publicly.
No, why not? Did I like it?
You have never liked any tweets.
I don't see your tweets, man.
Well, I don't understand how you're not refreshing my feed daily.
I'm usually on Baboon Yodel, which has like 3 followers.
Yeah, like for the very few tweets I do. By the way, go follow me at Jordyce, JORDYCE.
That's funny stuff coming on there. Yeah.
Yeah, but like the stuff I get is like sort of cutesy, mainstreamy stuff will get likes, but the more edgy jokes will just get absolutely nothing. And those are the ones I enjoy. So it's kind of a sad thing. The comedy that I like. Is not enjoyed by others. Is that a good segue to the next story? I feel like that's a really good segue.
That's a good segue.
All right. Do you wanna go with this one?
Which one?
Well, if it's a good, I'm like, is it a good segue? And you're like, yeah. What story is it? What story are we segueing to?
You start and then.
No, you go. I just did that. I
have no idea.
I just did the majority of the Josh Shack.
I have no idea what story are we talking about.
Then it wasn't a good segue. If it was a good segue, you'd be like, I know exactly what story we're
But if I know
about.
what story it is, then I can judge if it's a good segue. Is the SNL segue are you talking about?
Yes, it was an SNL. I mentioned offensive comedy, and I was like, oh, that must be a great segue to the SNL bit. And you're like,
SNL,
what bit?
SNL does not do offensive comedy. They're nice vanilla shit.
But that's the guy who got fired because he was an offensive comedian.
See, I don't know that story completely because it's I don't really pay attention to a lot of the American comedy scandals.
Yeah.
But I did know one thing. This is the thing. Okay. I will tell you what I knew.
Okay.
So the news came out that there's a new cast coming in, right? 3 new people come in. But according to my knowledge, it's alleged, I don't know completely, you can correct me, that one of the dudes has had some offensive tweets or some kind of sketch or something in the past. And that is why he has been fired now.
Yeah.
Is that correct? So what was the content and who got fired and why? You would know that better.
All right. So, I'll start from scratch. So, SNL, just shy of a week ago, announced 3 new hires. I believe it's Chloe Fineman, Bowen Yang, who's, I think, sort of like a viral tweet success, and Shane Gillis.
All right.
And Shane Gillis is, in sort of the New York equivalent of whatever kind of thing you would call me and Cumtown, irony bro, basically. He's an irony bro. There's certainly a lot of arguments over, like, how much of it is sincere, blah, blah, blah. So he was a really surprise casting announcement. Like, his comedy is nowhere near... He's a really solid stand-up. But it's nowhere near what you would expect of SNL.
It's after a long time they've hired like a stand-up comic, right? They always have actors and... they
hire a lot of people who do improv that say they do stand-up.
No, that's not true. Yeah, that's that proper stand-up.
No. Was it last year or the 2 years ago when Melissa Villasenor? She's a stand-up. She's a character stand-up.
She was there for a very short time. Che was a stand-up, Michael Che. Yeah. And Colin Jost is a stand-up.
Yeah.
Isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, there's some crossover. Pete Davidson.
He's just proper. He's proper stand-up.
God, Pete Davidson got in like just before.
Yeah. He doesn't even do any characters or something. He does himself a lot on the show. He'll just come and comment on the news at the weekend updates and that kind of shit.
Yeah, well, Pete Davidson's sort of become a character unto himself.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's funny.
He's funny. So anyway, this dude who's a Cumtown style guy.
Yeah. So Shane Gillis, he's got his own podcast, Matt and Shane's Secret Podcast. He's got his own show at The Stand. He's friends with a lot of comics that I really like, although I don't really know his stuff. I've only listened to one episode of his podcast. So he's hired, and then within like 2-3 hours, this reporter who I don't remember their name, but he's a failed stand-up.
Oh.
So he's a failed stand-up that went into comedy journalism, and his stand-up stuff that was online is so bad. It's like him doing poetry from the perspective of a bird. It's just him doing bird sounds. It's so bad. And from my understanding is he's got like a weird obsession with Michael Shea, who basically rejected him.
All right.
And then now he just sort of goes after like Shea and people he's friends with. So
there was some in writing that article, he had some kind of motive.
Yeah.
It was not objective, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. So, like, Shane Gillis is sort of, I guess Michael Shea is definitely more in the sort of offensive New York-y comedy style of people. Like, he goes on, like, Legion of Skanks, who also have, like, Shane Gillis. So they're all
He's a great stand-up as well.
Yeah. Shea's a great stand-up. Yeah. And then, so basically, like, he was like, look at, this footage has resurfaced of Shane Gillis calling Asians. How much do you want me to actually say of what he said?
No, did he say just some derogatory stuff for the Asians?
Just the racial slur for Asians.
Yeah, okay.
He was doing like the mixing up the L's and the R's.
All right.
Making fun of MSG.
Okay.
Stuff like that. And then people took him very seriously.
Yeah. At that time when it came out?
Yeah, and people are like resurfaced. That's the thing. People are like, it's jokes in the past. To be fair, these were jokes made within like literally weeks.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not new. He's always been doing this.
Okay.
It's not like someone being like, "Oh, look, here's some jokes from
10 years ago." Like the
He's
thing that happened with
guy.
Kevin Hart. It's not Kevin Hart style thing.
Yeah. So like this resurfaced, and people were like, "Oh my god, he's racist! Fire him!" Blah blah blah. And then like another podcast episode from like a week ago with him calling, what's Colonel McCuster? Yeah, Civil War stuff. I'm looking at you. I assume you know American history.
Colonel
Mustard?
McAllister.
Colonel McAllister. Maybe that's the one.
Yeah.
Anyway, he was calling them gays and the gay slur, and he was talking about old Civil War soldiers used to suck each other's dicks.
Okay.
That's just kind of funny. Just saying it. Yeah. Basically, just imagine he's said and done every horrendous thing short of the N-word.
In his podcast.
Yeah.
Okay.
And now it is like a comical podcast, but he does it pretty nonchalantly. So it is very easy to mistake that for like racist, white supremacist sort of talking.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not going to defend it. I don't think that kind of stand-up is right for SNL.
Anyway, yeah.
Which is probably why Lorne hired him, because he was so different in style compared to what they normally go for. I assume that's what they wanted him for.
Because it was kind of getting stagnated.
Yeah. And then, so people are like, we need an apology. So he puts out
so he did apologize.
I'm using air quotes for apologize. Yeah. He's like, I'm a comedian that pushes boundaries, which everyone's just been making fun of. They're like, racism isn't boundaries. I take risks, and people are like, racism isn't risks. And it's like, well, he risked his job and lost it. Yeah. And he was basically like, he just said, I'll apologize to anyone who's actually offended. So it was more or less just a non-apology.
Yeah.
And then people just got angry and more podcast stuff resurfaced. He tried to scrub it, but...
Well, if you put out the podcast like that, I mean, that's what if you hear Tuesdays with Stories. I don't know if any of our listeners, they do. They always keep saying that it's all gonna come out and we're never gonna make it.
The weird thing is, and apologies to the listeners who aren't going to understand this, but Shelby, the producer of Tuesdays with Stories, was really angry at Shane Gillis and was like, he sucks, really? Blah blah blah. And I'm like, you like,
was it in the thing? Was it in the new episode?
No, he was just tweeting about it.
So
I just noticed this. So the guy who produces Tuesdays with Stories is like, yeah, it's really inappropriate. I don't like the guy. He shouldn't have got the job. And I was like, but you produce for Mark Normand, who's almost as bad. Like,
yeah, and it's in a jokey way they do it, but it's if that kind of stuff. I mean, if these guys do. So it's going to set like a precedent. So if you are saying this stuff in your podcast, then if you do get a big job, somebody will resurface it. Somebody will put it out there. So, I mean, it's but I don't know, but I think it's fine. It's good to apologize if he rightfully apologizes, and then.
He didn't. It was a non-apology.
But if he did an actual apology that he was actually sorry about those things, but and then he can continue doing the job on SNL.
No, I don't think that would have worked. There's no way in it. Like, I've noticed it. No apology ever satisfies.
Yeah,
everyone.
There's apologies. I've seen that usually. Apologies never really work. They only work in real life 1-to-1 with other people.
Yeah,
but they don't work in internet
like
things.
Maybe like 5% of people cared about Shane's apology this time, but like at best, you're looking at like 50% of people accepting your apology. Like, for some people, like for a lot of people, as soon as you do one bad thing, you're dead to them. Doesn't matter how contrite you are apologizing, blah, blah, blah.
Isn't that bad? It's a bad thing.
Oh, yeah, it's a bad thing. Oh, no. But you're right. One-to-one is completely different. And by the way, if you ever want just like the moral victory over an argument, just say, I'm actually very sorry. It turns out you've been right the whole time.
Yeah.
And it like really screws with people. They'll just be like, what? I was enjoying getting angry and attacking you. They hate it when you take that away from them.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
That's good. Apologizing is the funniest way to just stop an argument. No one ever expects it because people don't like to back down.
You would just say that. Oh, no, you're exactly right. That's great.
But yeah, like this, I agree. Like some people have just said, you just can't apologize for anything. As soon as you apologize, you've lost because you've admitted fault.
Yeah, or you just keep doing what you do. The thing is that now the reaction would be with this guy that he will get more listeners to his podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to get more stage time. I have a feeling. Or in the clubs and all that, people would like to will invite him. Not all, but he's gonna return. That's the thing with stand-up.
Let me put it this way. He's going to get a lot of stage time in New York and very little in LA. Because the whole thing sort of started like a war where all the LA comics, who it's probably safe to say are more left-wing, a bit more sort of sensitive to issues, they all got really angry at him, including people like Patton Oswalt was like trying to get him fired. And like Patton Oswalt was making Asian jokes as of like a few years ago.
Yeah, he was. He was doing. I think he was doing this thing with the finger, with your fingers, and you do your squinty eyes. I think he did that, or he might have done the accent, but I remember.
Yeah, like Paul F. Tompkins was trying to get him fired. And he's on Comedy Bang Bang, which just has a character called China, which is just a guy speaking in a Chinese accent.
Yeah.
Like, it's really crazy how basically everyone who got woke at 2016 and used to have offensive jokes. Yeah. And then the people defending Shane were the ones who know him. So, I mean, like, I know the people who know Shane and trust them, but, I mean, I can't expect, like, a normal person to read these comments out of context or knowing who these people are and just being like, well, he called Andrew Yang a Jew-C word.
Okay.
Asian slur.
All right.
And now Shane Gillis and Andrew Yang are going to do a podcast together.
Well, that's great. That's awesome, because I'm actually, in his apology, he said that if I've actually offended someone, I'll apologize to them.
Yeah.
All right. That's good. But the thing with the thing where you said that, so nobody has actually heard the audio.
Oh yeah. No, the audio's out there.
Audio out there.
Oh, there's heaps.
And is it? No. It is out there. But the people who are getting their mind blown about this thing, have they listened to the actual episode, or? I don't think so.
Oh, there was like one journalist who was like listening to all of the episodes and like live tweeting how like horrified she was.
Ah, okay.
It was pretty fun to just read the like Twitter thread of just him saying like absurdly offensive things and just her being like, someone from the FBI should investigate this guy.
FBI? Jesus.
Yeah. And the other thing was like everyone is just making like jokes about how ugly he is, and they're just really trying to dance around the fact that he just looks like he has Down syndrome.
Yeah.
And like I say that because his act is about him looking like he has Down syndrome, but no one wants to say it because they're like, they can't be offensive about the offensive guy. I love when people dance around it. I know what they want to say, but they can't say it.
They can't say it.
Yeah,
that's true. But I have a feeling that he's gonna be okay.
He'll be fine. Like,
I mean, it's good that it happened. I don't think he was, as you said, with the type of comedy he does. I have never heard of him, never heard his name, but I think the type of things he's doing, he wasn't right for SNL anyway.
No, he wasn't. And his firing message, he just said I got cast on SNL. You can't take that away from me. I know I'm a good comedian, but we've decided to part ways. And frankly, I was more of a Mad TV guy anyway. Which is the best I got fired message. It's just like, I actually liked this other sketch show more, which does make sense. He is definitely more Mad TV than SNL.
Do you think that the comedians are more in the firing line for saying stuff on stage, and then it just comes up like that?
Yeah, and I think it's going to continue that way till the end of Trump, and then we'll go back to... No, I don't think we'll go back, but I think we'll stay flat.
There will be correction. There will be a correction.
Yeah, like we're very, very, very sensitive, and things are getting more sensitive every day. But I think once Trump's out, we're just going to sort of chill out a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it wasn't that bad during Obama years. It wasn't that. Nobody was picking up. Because these comedians were doing the same comedy at that time as well.
Yeah. All the very woke left-wing comedians who are now trying to get a guy like Shane Gillis fired were the same people who were doing Asian jokes in 2011.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They should immediately close down their Twitter.
Like one guy was just like, this is the most offensive thing I've ever seen. This is terrible. And then like there's just like 13 tweets from him like making fun of transgender people and using their slur.
Oh, wow.
It's like...
That's crazy.
Yeah. But again, the difference is that Shane is still actively saying these things. And as much as I like that ironic bro comedy, I can't defend it. I can't be like, here's why you should give this person a shot. I can only say like, I enjoy this, but I have no reasonable expectations for you to enjoy it.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's right. And the thing is that it's kind of... It's become, in the past few years, this has become a kind of a genre of things. So it doesn't matter what you believe. You just say these things in a certain way that it is ironic and it's bro-ish, right? So it doesn't, I don't think he believes all these things, but he's just saying it to be funny.
Yeah.
And
like, I don't know his comedy well enough to sort of judge either way, but I know the people who know him.
So do you think that the Cumtown people, if one of them got a job at, they might not, but if they get a job in SNL, they'll be shut down as well. Because,
of course,
because their podcast is it's a multi.
Oh, it's even.
It's
worse.
A huge podcast. It's a huge podcast. It's out there. People know about it. It's got lots of followers, Patreon, and all that.
Just shy of 50K on Patreon.
Fuck.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, but like those, if you're like a white guy saying the N-word comedian, which again many people will tell you absolutely should not ever be.
Yeah.
But if you are someone who can pull it off, again I'm using very much air quotes. If you're someone extremely offensive, then you are limiting your audience, and then you are saying I probably can't get mainstream jobs like SNL, which I think is fine.
It's fine.
Like. You do get some people like Jimmy Carr and Anthony Jeselnik who, I guess, grandfathered in is the term that people like to use.
What does that mean? I've never heard of it. I always shake my head, but I don't know what it means, grandfathered in.
Well, I don't exactly know why they call it grandfathered. I guess just because someone's so old. But basically, it's all right. So let's say you've got a phone plan, right? Let's say you got lucky and you got like a really good phone plan. Like, actually, let's say broadband instead. You got like $50 for unlimited broadband.
Yeah.
And then the company was like, oh, this is a dumb plan. We could be making way more money.
Yeah.
So then they make a new plan, which is like $50 for like 100 gigs or like 80 for unlimited. Yeah. And then suddenly you're on an old plan that doesn't exist anymore, which means you're grandfathered in. So you get the benefits of old things.
Aha. Yeah. Okay. Now I get the real point, because for me, it seemed that he was... like some kind of nepotism happened with some things, but it's not that. It's just that he was like with Anthony Jeselnik, he was on the old plan, right? But now things are changing. But you just let him be because he was on the old plan. Yeah, it doesn't matter. He's fine.
Yeah, like my old Spark plan, I get free Spotify. Yeah, but now they've changed it so your Spotify caps at 24 months. But if I stay on the old one, I just keep getting Spotify.
That's a great analogy. That's a good fun. You're an intelligent man.
Wow, that's just the.
I didn't know.
That wasn't even. It wasn't really an analogy. It's just like
because it's completely blew my mind. Because I was thinking it was just a nepotism thing, that he knew someone in the comedy industry and that's why he's like that. But no, it has a proper meaning.
But it tends to be used for things like contracts and stuff where you've got like an old benefit, like my web hosting plan. I pay less than everyone else because I have a plan from literally a decade ago. Yeah. And they're not going to end my contract, but they're not going to offer me that again. Yeah. So yeah, people who've been offensive in the past and were known for it tend to get grandfathered in, so to speak. But it's hard for a new comedian to establish themselves.
It's like there's Jeselnik, but Louis was not that offensive. He had a different issue anyway. But
he was pretty offensive, but he would be fine now doing...
Joey Diaz, is that a...
Yeah, probably.
Joey Diaz is the grandfathered...
Yeah, those older guys, like
Yeah.
40s, 50s.
A Bill Burr, I guess.
Yeah.
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 Right, a Bill Burr.
And I mean, like, but I've been like Chappelle, like half the people are more or less just giving him a pass. Half of them are very angry at just like his trans material and stuff like that.
But you've seen his other four. He's done. This is his fifth, like 2, 2, and 1, right? Even though this was a good one, I quite enjoyed it. But I think the previous 4 were extremely better. I quite enjoyed them a lot better. This one was great because we're comparing Chappelle to Chappelle, but but that's died down. The thing is that things die down really, really quickly nowadays. It was like last week; it was a whole thing, and now it's nobody's.
Well, yeah, the Shane Gillis controversy took that over, and then I'm sure some other controversy will pop up very quickly. Yeah. No, that's But I mean, the thing with like Chappelle is he wasn't, I guess, considered a comedian who like offensive was his thing. Yeah. Which is why he's getting more pushback. Whereas in Jeselnik he is the most offensive comedian. Yeah. Also, Jeselnik's latest special
wasn't offensive.
No, offensive. He only had one joke about race, and the joke was like, the punchline was that he was just talking about them having a disability instead or something like that. Like it had nothing to do with race. He just completely stayed away from race.
And he just talked
I don't think he did. He pretty much just went after religion and baby death. That was it. Like actually, that was kind of the problem with the special. It was literally 40 minutes on dead babies. That, which is like offensive, but you have enough babies, one of them's going to die sooner or later. I mean, it's just a fact of life. So that's what, he just went for the most fact of life-y thing.
Babies die all the time.
Yeah, but so he got fired. Shane Gillis got fired today. He'll be fine. He's got the support of a good chunk of the New York comedy scene. Like...
the Cellar people?
He's not in at the Cellar, but he's in at the Stand.
Okay.
The Cellar's weird, because the Cellar eventually banned Louis. Or, I don't know about banned, but... No, they didn't ban him. He still goes there to watch. But Louis doesn't perform at the Cellar anymore. Yeah. Louis just sort of hires out his own venues. Yeah, but he'll be fine. He'll bring his podcast back. It'll earn a ton more money. Like, he's going to make a living. He's just not going to make an SNL superstar living. Yeah. But like we were mentioning with, like, those offensive comedians, like, you can probably get, like, a Comedy Central special or a Netflix special. Yeah. So, there's a really good tweet, I think by one of the Chapo guys. He's like, there's 2 types of Netflix specials, which is like, are you triggered cuck, and like my deep emotional story and trauma. That's it. It's just like super like woke trauma stories, and just like, I'm going to be like an offensive douche. Yeah. And those are the 2 genres right now. Yeah.
Have you, I'm not.
And you know what both genres need? What? More punchlines.
More punchlines. I mean, Bill Burr had lots of punchlines. Did you see his?
No, I don't.
I
generally don't watch them.
You don't watch them, but it had a constant roar of laughter throughout.
Yeah, that's good.
It was just punch, 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 punch.
I heard more positive things about Bill Burr's than Chappelle's.
Yeah. Chappelle had gaps between his punchlines. Yeah. But with Bill Burr, it was like, I couldn't believe that how much laughter can you peg it in one special.
That's good.
You never know. It might be made louder or tweaked or something. But I don't think so. It was great. It was a good special.
Cool.
Quite enjoyed it. I think
we've gone a bit too inside.
Too insidey, but it's okay. People like it.
Did you want to do the movie corner, or should we end it here?
No, we are at 33 minutes. It's great. Now we can let our listeners go and do their own thing. Yeah,
that's cool. All right. Well, if I need to come in and do another fill-in, if Renee's sick or whatever, we'll do the movie corner. Yeah. I saw Dora the Explorer.
Oh, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Dora the Explorer.
Okay. So I saw the Dora and the Lost City of Gold. I don't know. It's the live-action Dora the Explorer movie. And if you ever needed proof that Hollywood was run by pedophiles, here's your movie.
Really?
Oh, yeah. And
fuck.
Here's the thing, like there was like a...
I haven't seen it, so I can comment.
Yeah, there was like a review that went around being like, oh, like why is the latest Dora so sexy? Because she's like a 16-year-old in the movie. Uh-huh. And she's not, which is kind of part of why it's so weird. She's like 16, and she's still acts like a child. She still dresses exactly like Dora from the cartoon. She still acts exactly like Dora from the cartoon. She even like turns to the camera and it's like, can you say gracias?
Okay.
Can you say delicioso or whatever it is?
Yeah.
Doing Mexican voice. Cancel me like Shane Gillis.
No, you're not doing Mexican voice. You're just saying the word.
Yeah, it's not racist if you're doing an impression of someone. So it's like that. But now, okay, I haven't really seen much Dora the Explorer, but what would you assume a Dora the Explorer movie would be about?
That Dora goes and explores.
Yep. And where do you think she would explore?
She'd explore in the South American place.
Yep. That's what I would think too.
Yeah.
Dora exploring a jungle in South America.
Yeah.
So the movie starts with 6-year-old Dora hanging out with her cousin. Then she grows up 10 years and then goes to LA where she gets drugged by old men who take advantage of her.
That's the movie?
That's what happens at the start of the movie.
Fucking hell.
She goes to LA to like start doing high school, and then like 20 minutes in, like she gets like sleeping gassed by some like old guy. Which is just the perfect metaphor for young girls in LA.
So why are they but I thought, because when the ad came, I saw the ad. And I was like, okay, it's another kids movie. It's great. It's going to be great. I'm not going to watch it, but it's a kids movie and kids will like it. It doesn't matter they hired an older girl to play. That's fine as well.
Yeah.
But I didn't know that this shit would happen. Do you think the kids will go and do you think you should take the kids and say that, okay, that your favorite program that you've been watching as a cartoon, now let's watch a movie about it and see what the fuck happened when she grows up?
Yeah. It's, oh, hey, sorry, but let me say.
Yeah.
It's so what happens is she gets kidnapped and then is taken to the jungle, where she has to like find her parents, and she's like kidnapped with like her 3 high school friends as well. And then so these like old guys, she's got like an old guy who's helping her out. So there's just a lot of 50-year-old men in this movie, and also the characters keep making like references to like Pitfall and Indiana Jones, but like they're like teenagers who don't understand what they're talking about. They're making like old video game references, and I'm just like, was this written by like a 40-year-old Jewish guy? And yeah, of course it was.
Yeah,
it says it was written by like the guy who wrote Forgetting Sarah Marshall, which is like a raunchy sex comedy.
Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah,
that's great. I'm not gonna watch it. Well, I might watch it to just check it.
I mean, it's a pretty well constructed movie, but there's just like all sorts of like random jokes in there. Okay, so Dora and her teenage friends have been like kidnapped to the jungle, and then there is a scene where Dora has to teach the other girl in their group how to go to the bathroom. Mm-hmm. Yep. So then like there's an extended sequence where Dora sings a song about shitting in the woods.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah, and then the girl's like, okay, whatever you do, don't watch me doing this. And then like 5 seconds later, they're all watching her do this.
Oh,
and again, this is a 16-year-old girl, so it's just kind of weird like that. Oh, and every time there's sexual chemistry between characters, Dora's like, oh, are they going to start mating? Oh, and even more, so the actress they got to play Dora, now, you know, normally when you have teenagers, like 16-year-olds, you get 18-year-olds to play them. Because hiring someone 17 or younger is a real hassle.
Yeah.
There's all sorts of like legal things. You can only shoot with them for a certain amount of time. They specifically hired an actress who was 17.
All right.
Like, they specifically hired an underage actress to play this weird teenage girl who is... So it's not like sexual. It's like infantilized. It's for people who like children.
Really?
Yeah.
Are you looking way too much into it, or it's just, are you reading too much into it, or it's just
a little bit for dramatic effect. But let me continue. Then later on in the story, they get high on magic mushrooms.
Fuck.
Yeah. And then they get high on mushrooms and then just start picturing each other as like the animated versions of themselves.
All right.
And then you like see the old guy's ass as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
So it's... And then at the end, yeah, like 2 of the other teenagers kiss, and then like Dora's like, oh, they're finally starting their mating ritual. And at one point, like, there's this guy and like 2 scorpions like crawl on his head, and they're like, oh, I hope they don't fight, because you know he'd get stung, and instead the scorpions start fucking on his head. There is a lot of just, again, the movie isn't...
Did you watch it in the cinema? Did you watch it?
Yeah, I got free tickets and I went for the popcorn, which was also free. That's 100% why I went to the movie, is for free popcorn, which was stale and cold, and I regret it. But yeah, the movie was just like... Again, it wasn't written by someone trying to sexualize teenagers. Didn't get that read on it at all. No one was dressed sexy, no sexy camera angles. It was like written by someone who was like sexually obsessed with childhood.
Okay.
It was so weird. Oh, and then the final song of the movie is they do a big dance where it's like, it's better when we come together.
Okay.
Yeah. It's
so they
like,
do it. They did.
They do a big song and dance, and then like one of the teenagers like, oh no, like everyone's for me like naked in the woods. It's just like, come on. And they're all just singing about coming together. It's like the Beatles knew that this was a sexual innuendo.
All right.
And I think the writers know that as well.
Yeah, they know that. So
I am being a little over dramatic, but it was an interesting experience to watch.
But good story.
It was a pretty well constructed movie, better than most kid movies. It had like a plot.
That's good.
Very loose character development.
But I really like the fact that right at the start she grows up and goes and gets gassed by some old people.
Yeah, that's the Dora the Explorer movie. So my review is, if you're a kid, you shouldn't be listening to this podcast in the first place.
Yeah.
Like if you're a parent, I guess maybe take your kid to this movie. There's a lot of like adult jokes in there.
Yeah.
So
I wonder what's it rated as, but
it'll be G.
In New Zealand, nobody cares.
It'll be G. Yeah, but if you've got like a baby fetish, you'd probably really like the movie. Like if you like being treated like a child, you'd like your favorite sex thing is dressing up in a diaper. This is probably the movie for you. This is 100% up your alley. So, that's the movie corner review of Dora the Explorer.
It's good that we squeezed that in. That was good. That was a good chunk of time. That's great.
All right. Well, anything else there, Ed?
No, that's it. We are going to just shut this down. Follow us. Email us at baboonyodel@gmail.com.
Yep.
Everything else
How about you come to Roast Battle October 24th in Auckland, October 28th or 27th in Christchurch, and November 9th in Hamilton.
Yeah.
Ed's on none of those.
I don't
know why I mentioned that.
I'm on none of those, but the one, where's the one that is in Auckland?
Kaluzi.
Kaluzi on K Road.
Yeah.
Kaluzi on K Road, it's a great venue. And it's a great event. If you haven't been there, it's a fantastic time because everybody is on the joke. Everybody loves it, and there's no offense taken or given. Everybody is having fun.
Well, I just logged in Dunedin dates as well.
Sweet.
So that's next year in March. Just search Roast Battle on Event Finder. Come along if you're in New Zealand. If you're not, well, you probably live somewhere with, I don't know,
better comedy.
A lot of chicks. Follow Baboon Yodel everywhere. Just at Baboon Yodel. Hopefully Renee gets better. Send kind words to Renee the 60S. Renee the 60s.
Cool. All right. Bye, ladies.